All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here today to another edition of NASCAR Xfinity Series action for NASCAR Heat 5 on the channel, the LTI Printing 250 at Michigan International Speedway. We'll wrap up our, well, a little bit of a longer week, I guess, at Michigan. We haven't ran the Cup race since Friday, and then, or sorry, since Saturday, and then NASCAR Thunder 2004 last Friday we ran at Michigan there as well, too. So here today, we are getting set for action. Final race at Michigan for the Xfinity Series season, the only race here as well. Thanks for everybody tuning in here in the early going. Joshua White called 48. Welcome to the stream. So here we go. No qualifying, no practice, starting at the rear for today's race, using the steering wheel as well. Austin Cendrick will sit on the pole for today's race at Michigan. Alex LeBay will be starting at the rear. Jeffrey Earnhardt looking like he's having a stellar week up to this point. Again, Cendrick on the pole here in this one. Looks like outside pole is Jeffrey Earnhardt. And there's Dale Jr. starting at the back with Alex LeBay. It is a doubleheader stream night here tonight. Career mode episode will be coming up later on. But for now, we are going to end up having this full race live stream. Green flag in the air at Michigan. 30 laps in stage one, gotta get up on it. 250 miles, 125 laps around this 2-mile tri-oval here today. McLaughlin looked like he wanted to get down to the inside underneath of Howard, but Junior was already there, getting through the shifts really well. Trying to pull off the Michigan sweep. Of course, we won here with Ryan Blaney, and we won our NASCAR Thunder 2004 race here as well. So trying to keep the trends going by winning this race here today. Junior just getting underneath Mike Harmon. Big side draft off the left rear quarter panel. Breaking that draft all the way to the bottom and down to the apron now. It'll be 3 wide going off into turn 1 with Ray Black Jr. in the middle. Junior on the bottom. Matt Mills was on the top and fading back. Wow, Matt Mills really got tight in the center of the corner there. Junior trying to charge through the field, down the back straightaway, already looking for 21st on Vinnie Miller. He's got the position easily. David Starr now right in front of him as well. Huge run, 200 miles an hour. Off into turn 1. That is really fast for these Xfinity cars. A little contact. Joe Graf Jr. giving the 8 car a shot off of turn 2, trying to help him out after the contact from Nemechek slowed him up. That helped him clear him on corner exit despite the contact. Still going 3 wide further up ahead, and look at that mess in the top 10 as they all battle 2 and 3 wide for the lead up there as well. Riley Hurt starting the fade. He's back to 18th all by himself. Junior coming off that thrilling win at Mid-Ohio in the last race. A last lap pass for the win on his teammate Michael Annett. There wasn't a lot of room for him there. Still isn't a lot of room. Pushing hard and barely going to be able to clear the 11 of Justin Haley and the 68 of Brandon Brown. 3 wide now behind. Jesse Little trying to follow Dale Jr. through there. Junior now for 13th to the inside of Chastain, and he'll take over the 13th spot now. Jesse Little just kind of followed him all the way through all 3 of those guys. Little's going to get around Chastain off of turn 4 as well. 5 laps complete in the early going of the race today at Michigan. Junior almost got in the wall off of turn 2. Trying to get a run now down the back straightaway. Huge run. 2:03 going off into turn 3. Down to the outside of Jeremy Clements in the 51. Full side draft there. Ryan Sieg was going to fit through the hole, and I think the 51 kind of pinched him off. Sieg kind of checked up. Dale Jr. already in the top 10 for the first time today. Looking like he's got one of the faster cars in the early going of the race. Side by side for the lead further up ahead. Chase Briscoe on the bottom. On the outside it is Jeffrey Earnhardt. Trying to hold on strong. It's a fast lap, that last lap there for Dale Jr. is fastest of the race in the early going. Jr. now looks high of Austin Cendrick, one of the drivers he battled with for the win at Mid-Ohio back on Monday night. Jr.'s got a big run now in the draft to the inside of Cendrick and up to 8th place. 3 wide, it looks like, for 4th place now. Big run by Cendrick in the center of the corner. Almost got right back up to that back bumper of Dale Jr. again. Jr. trying to get a draft off his teammate Daniel Hemrick a little further up ahead. Kyle Button, welcome to the stream. Well, that was a big move up here. I believe that's Harrison Burton ducking to the inside of his teammate there, Brandon Jones. Junior moves up to 7th, passing his teammate. Daniel Hemrick trying to catch another one of his teammates, Justin Allgaier, who was in 6th place. Big run in the draft again now, down the front stretch. 205 miles an hour, 206 into turn 1. 8 car's absolutely hauling his way through the field as he pushes up the track through 1 and 2. Has to get out of the gas or he would have ended up in the wall. Allgaier trying to cross him back over to the inside. Junior got back in the gas too soon. I think going into turn 1 at 206, faster than what he has up to this point. Kind of threw him off there and wasn't intending to wash up the racetrack quite like that. So Briscoe leads here at Michigan. Junior down to the inside of the net. Brandon Jones. Harrison Burton going for 2nd place, it looks like, underneath Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 0. Junior with a big run to the inside of Brandon Jones, but he can't clear him off in turn 4. Jones is going to get the run off the top side of the racetrack. Junior going to go down to the apron. Not allow Jones to side draft him there. Going to go back up the track. He's going to have to go back up to make it into turn 1. So Junior tries to drive it in deeper. Can he clear the 19? Yes, he will. Not by much, but he did. Harrison Burton moves up to 2nd, pulling a block on the outside of Jeffrey Earnhardt. Earnhardt's run stalled out. Junior with a gigantic move to the inside, and the caution flies for the first time today at lap 12. So caution's out at lap 12 for the first time today. We're almost halfway through stage 1 already here in this race today. Gonna see most of the leaders stay out of the pits here. Nobody was a lap down. Landon Castle, Chad Fincham, Cesar Baccarella at the rear of the field will hit pit road. Top off on fuel. Why not? Are already at the back anyway. So caution comes out as Briscoe leads. Harrison Burton was barely in second. Junior was charging hard for the position at the timing of the caution. Green flag back in the air here at MIS. Big restart to the bottom, 3 wide. Junior easily gets to the lead. Crossed flags, we're halfway through stage 1. 15 laps down, 15 to go in the opening stage of the race, and Junior's going to be the guy to beat now. Following that first caution of the race today. Yeah, you can definitely say that this year's Martinsville race is going to go down as a classic. That is a given. Bristol for the night. The race earlier this year in the spring, definitely. Night race, I wouldn't necessarily call it an instant classic, but it was a good race. Great battle for the finish. Junior out to about a 1-second lead now on Chase Briscoe. Can alternate through the different camera angles now for the first time in the race today. Something we did not do in the last race in Mid-Ohio. I didn't realize that until we got towards the end of the race. It kind of like dawned on me randomly in my head with like 5 or 6 laps left. I'm like, oh, I didn't alternate through the camera angles at all in the race, so I'll make sure I do it for extra laps here today. Kind of make up for it. That's unfortunate too, because that's the only trip to Mid-Ohio in the Xfinity series, and it's a road course race too, so that would have been pretty unique. So my bad on that one. I don't think I've ever done that before. I don't think I've ever meant to do it and just completely forgot. I've usually been pretty consistent with it. There's a good chance it could definitely go down as a classic. Phoenix is a good racetrack. It's not one of those racetracks that have always put on great races, but the Phoenix race earlier this year was pretty good. And knowing that it's a championship race is just that much more on the line. It could go down as a classic for sure. The way 2020's gone with the NASCAR season as far as entertainment-wise, it just feels like the races are either super entertaining or they kind of lag on for a little bit. It's like no in between. No, it was a decent race. It's either they've been spectacular or they just have been eh. I always find the good parts in every race. I generally like to say that, you know, most races are good, and I can find really anything entertaining with it. Even if there's not a lot of passion. The strategy races at Pocono, both Pocono races I thought were good Pocono races. Maybe not great races in the grand scheme of things, but I thought they were good Pocono races. One of them did have a pretty decent, decently close finish with the strategy too. I'll tell you what, Penske drivers, they've been known to race each other very hard and aggressively. You don't see that with anybody else. I've noticed that the last couple of years between Joey and Brad, and it seems like between last year and this year, Blaney's almost kind of the same way now. He doesn't really like rub up against anybody as much, excluding Talladega obviously, but I mean, I guess last lap for the win, it's a little coming down the home stretch is a little bit different, but I mean, the Penske guys, they race. That's one thing I will give Brad, Joey, and Blaney credit for, is that they race everybody else just the same way they race each other, because they race each other very aggressively. They race clean, but they race, you know, throughout the race. I'm saying if it comes down to the win, maybe not clean all the time, but you know, throughout the course of a race, they race clean, but they side draft the heck out of you. They block the heck out of you. But they do it to each other. You know, they don't just do that to everybody else. Like, they race each other just as hard. And knowing that Joey Logano and Keselowski are both going for the championship this weekend is something we haven't seen out of Penske cars before. Multiple drivers having a spot, chance for the championship. It's either going to be a happy morning on Monday, or it's going to be not a fun conference meeting if the two get into it. I don't know. We'll see if they're around each other at the end of the race anyway. But Sports Alive, welcome to the stream. Deserve way more subs. Thanks, man. On the road to 1,000, so anybody that isn't subbed right now, please sub. I've noticed with other YouTube channels, I kind of wanted to address it, so I guess now would be the best time to address it. So I've noticed with other YouTube channels, people have been posting stuff about people unsubscribing to their channels, or that, not necessarily that the people are unsubscribing to other people's channels, but it's more YouTube is unsubscribing them even though they don't unsubscribe. And I'm almost wondering if that's the case with me, because I've noticed over the last probably about a month and a half, pretty much ever since I went to Darlington, when the subs haven't quite gone up as much as they have, like they've stalled out. I've noticed, so it seems like I get 4 or 5 subs a day still, and I'll notice that number jump up, and then it'll jump right back down when I wake up the next morning, or, you know, throughout the course of the next day or something. It'll jump right back to where it was, if not lower than what it was. And it'll jump back up like 3 to 5 more subs by the end of the night, and then it'll go right back to normal. And I think that's why we've only gained like 47 subs when I looked at it over the last 30 days now. That's just something I've noticed. I don't know if it's that people are unsubscribing necessarily, now that I know that there's an issue with other people's channels, that's been the case. It's got to be something to do with the algorithm of everything, that people probably aren't watching as frequently, and if you miss so many videos, like new videos consecutively, I wonder if YouTube's just unsubscribing you from a certain... Yeah, because there was somebody else that I'm subscribed to that has like 1 million subs, and was wondering, you know, obviously he can post stuff that isn't videos, so that's why I haven't really addressed it to any of you guys up to this point yet. But it's been going on for every bit of a month and a half, at least since just after I came back from Darlington. Because everything was going smoothly. I was getting about 100, you know, 30 to 150 subs a month for a few months there, and then all of a sudden it just kind of stopped as soon as I did not post for like 3 or 4 days when I was gone. Outside of the race vlog and then the actual pre-race predictions and the post-race analysis, outside of those videos, I didn't, you know, put out a video for pretty much 6 days. Outside of those smaller ones. No streams or anything, so kind of, yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's either a YouTube thing or just, you know, it is what it is. I don't really know. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. Lap traffic coming up here. Some of these backmarker cars starting to go a lap down for the first time today. 12.5-second lead for Dale Jr. That last restart really helped him pull quite a ways ahead of everybody else. We're on the final lap of stage 1. No, this is not a Trump hat. I am not political in any way. No, this is a Detroit Red Wings hat. I just felt like pulling a Dale Jr. and flipping it backwards for the day. Jeff Green going to go lap down off of turn 4 now. Checkered flag in the air. Green-white checkered flag in the air. Dale Jr. will pick up another stage win this season. Followed by Chase Briscoe, Harrison Burton, Michael Annett, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Brandon Jones, Ryan Sieg, Daniel Hemrick, Justin Allgaier, and Anthony Alfredo will all receive stage points here in the opening stage of the race. So 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel coming. No adjustments out of the 8 team under the first pit stop of the day. Get my phone to a charger here. Who do I think is going to win the... I didn't even... I checked it this morning, and then I think I checked the polls at like noonish, and I haven't checked since, and they didn't really change. It was still 238 to 217 electoral votes. I don't know if that's what it still is, or if anything else is accounted for, because there were still 6 states that haven't been determined yet. Not all the counts were. It was close enough to where it could have swung either way, and that not all the votes were accounted for in those states at the time, so wasn't sure. But it looked like it was going to be Trump in the morning, and then it was swinging more towards Biden right around noonish. But I literally haven't checked since, so I wouldn't know. Great restart here from Dale Jr. Yeah, I don't really have a horse in the race, so I honestly couldn't care less. Something else I thought was kind of funny. So I was automatically assuming Trump was going to win in a landslide a couple weeks ago, because every single, between going to Bristol, going to Talladega, and going to Darlington this year, every state I traveled through, including my own state, it seemed like there were so many like Trump posters, like you didn't see anything of Biden. And then sure enough, literally I checked like what states he was leading. Every single state I would have driven through on the way to any one of those 3 racetracks, he was either leading in or already won. I'm like, oh, that's just it. It just happens to be the states I had to go through. They were just all, so yeah, I mean, I thought that was kind of a coincidence. I don't know how I didn't see that coming. But I was like, oh, well, that makes sense now. Battle for the lead here. We see very, very crazy restarts at this racetrack. Dale Jr. for the first couple laps since the restart is holding on to the lead. Already just 24 laps to go in stage 2. Chase Briscoe, Jeffrey Earnhardt side by side for second going off into turn 1. Dale Jr. just trying to do what he can right now to hold on to the lead. Briscoe might have a run off the outside. 3 wide up the middle goes Harrison Burton. They are 3 wide for second place down the back straightaway. Burton with a huge run now going into turn 3. Nobody is given an inch there. Somebody's moved all the way up to the outside. That clean air advantage, though, for Dale Jr., by the way, is definitely paying off some huge dividends for him. Burton's got the nose out in front of Jeffrey Earnhardt. Jeffrey trying to side draft him now down the front stretch. And Jeffrey Earnhardt now to the inside of the 8 car. Jeffrey Earnhardt looking for the lead. Jr. aggressively side drafting him now, and a push from behind now from Chase Briscoe. Briscoe trying to help him out. but it's not going to help him enough. Briscoe again to the back bumper of Dale Jr. They're 3 wide for second place as Jeffrey Earnhardt now has taken the lead at Michigan. Huge run by Dale Jr. after another push. Oh no! And he turns down in front of the 20. Back up the racetrack. There's huge contact. Hard crash. Caution is out. A big crash that could have probably been a lot worse than what it was. Off of turn 4. More so was halfway down the front stretch. Jr. tried to make a move, and he did not clear Harrison Burton. Clipped himself. Turned himself straight into Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick goes around. Hemrick got the worst end of that. Jr. had some damage, but it could have, again, been a lot worse than what it ended up being. I think that was the case for a lot of these guys. So Jr. will repair the damage. He doesn't have much. Gonna kind of punish myself for causing the accident more than anything else. Colby Howard will get the free pass back at 34th. Oh man, I don't know why my eyes are drying out. Alright, green flag back in the air. If it looks like my eyes are watering on the camera, I don't know why my eyes keep drying out. I just got off the golf course like a half hour ago, and I'm just... I don't know if it's just the, like the allergies or something. It was pretty windy, so I probably had some of my allergies come back. It's almost like I got like dirt in my eye or something. I literally have tears rolling down my cheek. Ugh. I don't know what that is, man. Sorry for that. Green flag back in the air nonetheless. Great restart from the back of the field. Jr. trying to claw his way back through. Just 18 laps to go now in stage 2. Harrison Burton at the front of the field. I mean, let's just be honest. Something like this was bound to happen eventually. It was just a matter of when, and it happened in 2020 as far as Harvick not making the championship 4 and how great of a season he had. We had never seen the regular season champion in the Cup Series at least miss the playoffs. And we were bound to have a 16 seed. You know, I mean, look at how many years it took in March Madness for a 16 seed to beat a 1. It took up until, not last year because they didn't play, but the year before that. What, like 34 years of them having 64 teams in the tournament for something like that to happen. So even if it took like, you know, 20, 30 years down the road with this playoff format, we're bound to at some point in time have whoever goes in as the 16th seed in the first round win the championship. It's just a matter of when. Do I think it's going to be anytime soon? No, but it's going to come when nobody else is expecting it. Like, at some point in time, we're going to have, like, Austin Dillon, with the season he had this year, win the championship. Or, I mean, it's just going to happen under this format. They the most deserving? No. But you can't take that away from them either. That's one thing I think fans do too much, like with Kyle Busch back in 2015. Was he the most deserving driver of the championship? No. But you still got to credit him with the championship. I mean, you can't, like, just say, well, it's not what it used to be. Like, you still, like, you have to credit the guy for winning the championship nonetheless, because he won the championship. I think the same goes for Logano back in 2018, whoever wins it this year, too. You can't take that away from him. Man, it's, like, getting hard to see. I've got so many... I was about to say so many tears in my eyes, but that wouldn't have sounded right either. Well, here we go. Here's what I think they should do, personally. They want to keep the playoffs, that's fine. I think the playoffs are entertaining. Does it crown the champion? No, but the playoffs do exactly what it was meant to do. Now, under my playoff circumstance, under my rules, I would have it similar to how it is now. I still think you have the stage racing. You still get the playoff points that carry round by round and that are accumulated, you know, from the regular season, including the playoff races. All that stays the same. The only thing I would change is instead of having one single championship race, I would keep it to expanding it to 12 race playoff and having points for those final 3 races the same way you've been doing every round up to that point, the same way you were keeping points all season with the stages and everything. And I would have the win and you're in. I would keep that the same, the way they're doing it now, round by round, so they still make wins matter more than, you know, the case. They still have the wins matter. Until you get to the final 4, then the wins don't matter because obviously there's no other round beyond that point. You just take whoever's got the most points at the end of those 3 races. That way you still have an instance where if you have a season like Harvick and Harvick were to make it to the championship, he was that good throughout the course of the year. He made it round by round. He makes it, he has a chance to literally clinch the championship early still. Like under my format, I guess, if Harvick would have made the championship 4 this year, he would have been so far ahead. If he would have been dominant the first 2 races, scored a lot of stage points, ran up front at the end of the race, got a good finish, he would have probably clinched the championship before they even got to Phoenix or wherever the last race would be. Or you can make it 9 races in the playoffs and just have it 12 drivers instead of 16. With no win and you're in for the regular season, but if you win in the playoffs, obviously that would, because it still makes wins mean more. Lead change going into turn 1. Dale Jr. is just taking the lead from Harrison Burton. We'll have 9 laps to go in stage 2 this time by. Burton was able to lead for pretty much every lap since the restart there. He held his own pretty well up until just now. Well, I get it because they want to make wins mean more. Obviously, in that circumstance, yeah, it's like, well, Harvick has 9 wins, you know, and he didn't make it. I understand that argument. Maybe the win and you're in the regular season, maybe not. I could see that. I'd be okay if they took away that, obviously, but I'm not really butthurt about, you know, Logano or Chase Elliott making it because they won. +3 wins and you're in. I think if I remember correctly, I'm trying to think what the one chase format it was. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but it was when they had 12 drivers, and it was when they first started doing like the win and you're in. Like if you're in the top 20 in points, I think it was, and you had a win, you weren't in the top 12. It was one of the wild card spots or something. Like you could earn a wild. I think that's how Paul Menard got in the playoffs or the chase the one year when he won at the Brickyard. So I don't think he was in the top 12 in points, but I think he was one of the wild card contenders because he won and he was in the top 20 instead of the top 30 like it is now. They can make it 2 wins, 2 or 3 wins, but I think if they make it, if they, I don't think they're going to change the playoff. I even mentioned in the post-race analysis, don't change the playoff. I'm just saying, if I were to change it, that's the way I would change it. Granted, under my format, I guess Harvick would have been eliminated either way, but at least it wouldn't have been a winner decide all championship race. It would have been 3 races, so you could still have, you know, the formula of Most likely coming down to the last race on points. Three-and-a-half-second lead now for Dale Jr. We've had one caution for incident in each of the first two stages. One at the beginning of stage 2 and one midway through stage 1. 5 laps to go in the second stage already. This race is just flying by here today. Haven't really talked much about the race, it feels like, but this has kind of been pretty calm for the most part outside of that restart to stage 2 that caused that accident down the front stretch. Outside of that, really hasn't been a lot else to talk about. Junior has the fastest car today from what it looks like. Definitely the fastest long run car. Takes about 10 to 15 laps to get going. But he was able to hold his own there in the top 5 up until that accident. Luckily he didn't have more than 5 seconds of damage, was able to repair it and get back out on the racetrack. Saved a set of tires as well by not pitting for tires when he did pit to repair the damage. 5-second lead now, so the second set of tires will go on at the end of the stage. Junior already won the opening stage of the race, just racking up all the stage points and playoff points he can. We saw what happened to Harvick in the regular season, so I guess we know that we could blow a big points lead. We have a couple, like if we were to DNF twice in the round of 8 or something like that, so you never have enough playoff points. Something else, I was really hoping when I watched the Icebergs video on 2020 missing rings for Kevin Harvick, I was hoping he could find an instant this year where Harvick might have sacrificed a playoff point to pit or something like that, that could have cost him that 1 point at the end of the season. I was really, like, I'd have to go back and look myself because I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I wonder if there was a race he was leading, you know, towards the end of a stage, a caution came out, and he and a bunch of other drivers decided to pit, and he happened to be the leader, or was running up in front with a chance to win the stage and decided to pit and because he didn't need the stage points. But obviously, you know, 1 point for winning a stage, playoff point that is, and Harvick could have had the tiebreaker without even having to pass Busch there at the end of the race. Like, I wonder if there was an instant like that that could have happened. Like I said, I don't know off the top of my head if there was, but you see drivers do that a lot. If there's a late race caution, usually it's drivers that aren't in a points situation. They're either going for a win to get in, or, you know, they just flat out are already in. So I don't know if that was one of the instances. Oh, I was looking at the chat way too much there. Stage 2 will come to an end anyway, though. Dale Jr. will win the first 2 stages of the race tonight at Michigan. Followed by Harrison Burton, Chase Briscoe, Michael Annett, Brandon Jones, Alex LeBay. Jeffrey Earnhardt fell back to 7th. Daniel Hemrick, Noah Gragson, Ryan Sieg will round out the top 10 in Stage 2. We'll all receive stage points here. Junior just adding on to that total here for playoff points as this season continues. So pit stops coming at the end of stage 2. Michael Annett gains a spot there. Jeffrey Earnhardt gains 3 spots on pit road. Somebody lost 4. I think that was Harrison Burton that lost 4 spots. He gets the worst end of the stick on pit road. Dale Jr. will win the race out of the pits. Green flag back in the air. 62 laps to go in the race today. 2 sets of tires left for Dale Jr. the rest of the way. Great restart here for the final stage of the race by 2 junior motorcycles. In the last races, it has been a 1-2-3 finish for Junior Motorsports. At Charlotte, it was Junior getting the race win. Gregson finished second. Michael Annett finished third. At Mid-Ohio, it was Junior getting the win again, followed by Michael Annett finished second and was over his teammate who finished in third, Noah Gregson. Can we do that 3 races in a row? We haven't seen that many Junior Motorsport cars up near the front, but you do see them running 1-2 currently. Outside of Dale Jr. himself, it's really been the lead in the race today of those mates. And look at going to the bottom, trying to break the draft. Annett goes down there with him. Annett might try to drive it in deep into turn 1. Junior trying to hold him up, backed out of the gas a little bit more to try and stay to the inside. Trying to block Michael Annett. Big run on the top from Alex in 36. As he goes for second place on Michael Annett now. Just keep taking the inside there. Junior might be alright. He just cannot afford to give up the bottom like he did at the beginning of that second stage. They are 3 wide now for about 3rd place on back. Caution, 59 laps to go. 3rd caution for incident today. So we'll rack them and stack them again. And the free pass will go to CJ McLaughlin back in 28th. I don't think anybody's knocked out of the race up to this point either. Yes, we did win Mid-Ohio. Yeah, Zane Smith's in the championship 4 for the Truck Series. Man, it's in 2 days already. Friday night. I'll make sure I'm not streaming at all during the Truck or Xfinity championships. I know I stream during the races, but it's a little different for a championship race, I guess. I guess Speed Weeks and championship, I should probably stay away from streaming in the middle of a Truck or Xfinity race. Green flag back in the air. We'll try it again. Annett again on the outside. Dale Jr. on the inside. Not sure where that caution came out, but great restart again. Junior's gotten through the shifts better than anybody else all day today. Huge factor in him staying out in front. Alex Abay side by side with Annett. He went to the outside. That didn't work. Harrison Burton's worked himself back into the top 3 and 3rd, followed by Justin Allgaier, who's now in the top 5 for probably the first time today. Can he get up to 3rd place? That'd be insane if we go 3 straight races with Junior Motorsport drivers finishing in the top 3. 1, 2, 3, in fact. Yeah, Briscoe's my pick for the Xfinity Championship. Truck Series. Man, I don't really trust anybody in the Truck Series Championship. Austin Hill is probably the most consistent driver in the Truck Series all season, but he's not in the Championship 4. Creed's coming on late, so he's probably got the most momentum going into the Truck Series Championship. I don't trust Enfinger. Well, he's got, what, 3 or 4 wins this year? I don't know. I'd probably go Zane Smith, honestly. I feel like he's been the most consistent out of the championship 4. Maybe he hasn't won as many races, but he's been the most consistent. We've seen the truck series, you don't have to win the race to win the championship. What year was it? Austin Hill? Well, yeah, it would have been last year, I guess, Austin Hill. Was it Austin Hill that won the... No, Crafton won the championship last year. But I don't think he won the race. No, he didn't win the race. There was one year the champion finished 6th in the truck series, too. And I can't remember what year that was, but I do remember a year where the champion finished 6th. So you don't have to win the race. I guess I'll go Zane Smith for the truck series. No pick on the cup yet, though. Harrison Burton has jumped up to 2nd, passing Michael Annett through turns 3 and 4 there. Junior goes low to break the draft down the front stretch. 52 laps to go. Junior, Burton. Burton closes the gap a little bit. Junior couldn't stick the bottom. Kind of ran that middle lane. Burton closes the gap a little bit more, and now he's all over the back bumper of Dale Jr. off of turn 2. It's going to be hard to pass the car with the clean air. We have seen how much that means to have clean air at Michigan. These longer racetracks. Although you could see during the Cup race, granted there was PJ1, but there are multiple lanes starting to form on this racetrack as it gets older. I think you give Michigan a couple more years, and it's gonna, I'd say 1 or 2 more years, and Michigan will be right back to where it was before the repave. And they could run everywhere, and you saw a lot of good Michigan races in the late 2010s. Or not late 2010s, the late 2000s. So caution's out again. 4th caution of the race today, and still looks like Josh Bilicki's going to pit. And everybody from 24th on back will pit. Vinnie Miller will get the free pass in 28th. So another caution setting up for another restart. Dale Jr.'s led every lap in the final stage so far. Definitely his best 2 restarts of the race. Burton was starting to put pressure on him there. Yeah, there is a doubleheader live stream tonight, but I'm doing the career mode. I'm going to do a career mode episode. I have to calculate the points after this before I forget. So whenever I can get done calculating that, we'll get right into the career mode. 48 laps to go here in Michigan. Another great restart from Dale Jr. So yeah, career mode live stream. We'll probably shoot for about a half hour to 45 minutes after the end of this race tonight. So we'll have an approximate time at the end of the stream. You can expect that coming up tonight. I kind of figured this is going to be a quicker race, so that's why I decided to do that instead. And we'll see if Junior can drive away. He's at that point. 10 to 15 laps roughly on these tires for everybody. That could help Dale Jr. yeah, if I have to turn somebody to win, I will do it. I haven't forgotten. I will not forget when it comes to the career mode episode. I'm telling you, any chance you get, watch the... I don't really, like, I guess, care for the viewership on the career mode episodes as much. I do it for fun. I'm more focused on the full race live streams of the realistic broadcasts, you know, because, again, the reason I started this channel is for the broadcasting career. But, yeah, definitely probably can be entertaining watch for the career mode episodes in Season 3. Meese, welcome to the stream. 1.2 second lead here for Dale Jr. and he's slowly starting to increase that on Harrison Burton, who stayed in 2nd on that last restart on Michael Annett. So the last 3 to 4 restarts really haven't changed. You see the leader take off, and 2nd place ducks down, and they're able to stay in 2nd, at least for the last couple. Earlier in the race, we were seeing them go 3 wide for about the first 5 laps or so. Kind of just trading positions back and forth, but that has not been the case in this final stage. We have gotten just as many cautions in the final stage as what we did the first 2 stages combined already, and we still have over 40 laps left, so got that going here. 2 more sets of tires still to go the rest of the way. Easily got to make it to the end. It's just a matter of when do you pit. Junior stayed out to keep that track position. Last couple times it's worked out for him. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles one final time in the race today. Starting at the start-finish line here. And starting with the onboard in-car camera. Nine people watching currently right now. Thanks for everybody tuning in here on a Wednesday evening. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We got these full race live streams of the realistic broadcast on the daily. Again, this is the start of my commentating career. So follow me on the young journey to hopefully one day broadcasting real NASCAR races at track and in person. Junior, a little hiccup there in turns 3 and 4, and he had to lift quite a bit. Overran the corner, and we've seen him hit his marks perfectly tonight, but not right there. Definitely slid way up the racetrack. Costed him a couple tenths of a second, but it's better than a wrecked race car. Got those left side tires down to the apron. Not a lot of grip on the apron on this racetrack. It's not like Fontana. It's a little bit more banking in this 2-mile. Despite the fact that it's got more grip. Because obviously it's not as old of a surface, but it's also a little bit more banked. Can't quite run the apron like you can at the Auto Club Speedway. I'm not gonna lie, looking at the hood of the car and seeing Hellman's right there, I'm in the mood for a ham sandwich with mayonnaise. NASCAR does it branding well. "40 laps to go. Three-and-a-half-second lead. Harrison Burton has really proved himself as the second fastest car here tonight. Almost 2 seconds ahead of Brandon Jones, who is now taking over 3rd place. Haven't really seen much of Jones tonight, especially in the top 3. But he's been clinging on to a top 10 position. He scored stage points in both stages. I think he actually finished top stage 1. Michael Annett, Noah Gragson, top 5. Gragson trying to sneak up there. Annett and Gragson not too far behind Jones in 3rd. And these other drivers got to take advantage of the restart, so get ahead of him here, get him out of the clean air, because again, it takes 10 to 15 laps for his tires to kick in on a longer run, but he is just getting good restarts in this final stage. He hasn't lost the lead yet. Good job blocking for those first 10 to 15 laps, and that's it. At that point. Do I know why McDonald's is red and yellow? You know, I actually worked at McDonald's. That was my first job when I was in high school. I worked there for 2 years when I was 16 and worked there until I was 18. I don't know why it's red and yellow. Especially now, like, you don't see any McDonald's with any sort of red. Like, I guess the green is red on the outside. Obviously yellow with the, you know, the I always thought like yellow and white or yellow. They've been, you know, something else that's weird with that too. I've seen black a lot with like McDonald's, like when I started working there. Whether it was the uniforms or like they were starting to go to like black. And what year was it Larson had black and red McDonald's? I thought that paint scheme was, that was like top notch. That was a good paint scheme. Plus he had the chrome with the chicken ass cars like they usually have. So that was really nice. That matte finish on the race car. I want to say it was 2018. I think it was 2018. But yeah, that was some nice paint scheme. Eight-second lead now. Junior the guy to beat again tonight. Saw everybody put up a fight at Mid-Ohio in the last race, so don't count this one over until it's over. Came down to a last lap pass for the win. Was able to get on by. Another great race at Mid-Ohio. We have had nothing but good races at that track whenever we go there, it seems like, with these NASCAR heat games. That lap there. At least for Heat 5, obviously. Definitely going to be one of the tracks high on my list to put on the schedules for NASCAR 21 whenever it comes out for a custom schedule season. I will put that racetrack in for Cup, Xfinity, and Truck. So we seem to have great races there every single time. Rodney Martin, welcome to the stream. 10 seconds is now the gap back to second place. Lap traffic once again here. Junior hasn't lapped many cars today. We haven't had a lot of long green flag runs. This is probably one of the longest green flag runs we've had up to this point. Everybody will have to pit one more time yet. Everybody staying out as long as they can, just trying to keep that position. Name of the game here in Michigan. Although with Junior's lead right now, he would easily stay on the lead lap if he decided to short pit. He's got 2 sets of tires left, but again, trying to log as many laps led as he can, although there's no bonus here, the current point system, but more for self-pride, I guess, at this point. Nice, stable, smooth car tonight, too. Stick with the normal camera now for the final 31 laps of the race here today in Michigan. Seen some great races here on the channel. Had one last week on NASCAR 2004, so don't rule it out of the question if something gets crazy here by the end. Probably one of the calmer races I think we've had on the channel over the last couple weeks. But I guess we were bound at some point in time to hit a race like this. I mean, it has been a consistent stretch of about a week and a half to 2 weeks that we have not had a race where I've just dominated or somebody else just dominated, and we've been a non-factor all day with really no drama. up until this one here today, at least up to this point. Again, almost a lap 100. Still got 30 laps to go. And obviously the most important 30 laps we have run up to this point tonight. No emphasis of tire wear at all tonight either, so these guys are pretty much looking like they're going to stretch the fuel tank as long as they can before they come to pit road. See, the thing is, too, the later and later we go into this run and a caution then would decide to come out, it's going to give everybody else more of an opportunity to try and win this race. It's when Junior, if he has struggled at all tonight, has struggled the most. Again, the first 10 to 15 laps of a run. 27 to go right now. That would definitely make for a late race restart. I know these guys are staying out a little bit longer. It would be a guarantee everybody would pit under the next caution if they haven't up to that point. Lap 100 now this time by. One car up in smoke on pit road. We stay green. 26 to go now. The car was able to get off the track onto pit road. Plenty of time. No cars around him. Junior's putting as many tires as he can a lap down. Mike Harmon having himself a great day today. He is in 18th currently. By far as good of a run as he's had this season. I noticed he's one of the drivers that seems to DNF a lot on the well anyway, but Junior's lapping as many of these guys as he can just in case we get a caution. Less drivers he's going to have to worry about for position. That's Austin Cendrick is the next lap car now just in front of Dale Jr. Interesting. Cendrick started on the pole today. He's now back to 15th. Scored stage points in stage 1, but he is just fading as this race carries on. Not able to keep up with the track conditions, it looks like. And he's not even going to be the first driver one lap down once Junior gets around Jesse Little. And that is the case. Cendrick will finish 4th and had a great run at Mid-Ohio. Finished 2nd in both stages as well last night. Not able to return the favor to Michigan here today. And sorry, not last night. I meant Monday. 26 seconds. Yeah, we don't get a caution. This is Junior's race to lose. Has to make sure he does not speed on pit road. Penalty. Yeah, he's got time for the buffer of it, I guess, but you still don't want that penalty. No practice or qualifying, so hasn't had to make a green flag stop at all yet tonight either. Something else to notice, if it stays green to the end of the race, there were some drivers that hit pit road within those first 2 cautions of the final stage. None of them can make it to the end. Josh Balicki up to 12th. He'll go a lap down now. I think he is the furthest running driver of those that have pitted up to this point. but they cannot make it on field to the end of the race. They can run about an extra 10 laps or so, but that would be about it. 22 laps remain now. And we are 2 to 3 laps away from green flag pit stops. Jeffrey Earnhardt, he's faded back to 11th. He started outside pole, scored stage points in both stages today. As far back as he has been in the running order so far. Heavy lap traffic right in front of him. Daniel Hemrick, Justin Allgaier going to go a lap down now. Junior really drove it in deep, got on the brakes. Going into turn 3 as well. Ryan Sieg, Chase Briscoe. Both going to go a lap down into turn 1. Junior absolutely dominating. Right front down to 20% tire wear. Even more impressive, he was able to run it that deep. Made it look easy going into turn 3 that last lap. So green flag pit stops will start right now. Dale Jr. will come onto pit road as he drives it in deep to get around Jeff Green. 55 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. Easily going to get down in time. 4 fresh tires. 3/4 of a tank of fuel, plenty to make it to the end. Likely the final pit stop of the race. 20 laps to go at Michigan. Caution is out with 20 to go. Perfect timing for Junior. He'll service the car now. Problem is, all those guys he just put a lap down, there were only 5 on the lead lap when he came to pit road. That gave a lot of guys their laps back. Brandon Brown will get the free pass in 18th. And problems for Harrison Burton brings out the caution, it looks like. That is a tough break. Harrison Burton's second fastest car all night. Looks like his race is done with just 20 laps left. That is a rough go for him. Luckily, he's got 2 wins on the season and is already in the playoffs, but that is still rough. He's having a good run today, good points day. So Junior will restart in the lead. We're only going to have 17 laps to go. Oh, wow, Burton stayed. So Burton was actually on pit road. He did not cause the caution. That is why he is restarting second. So he pitted with Dale Jr. there. Green flag back in the air. So I guess everything that I just said about him bringing out the caution was false. I saw him pitting and he was back at 15th. I automatically assumed that he blew an engine or something. So 5th caution of the night. 17 to go. This could get wild and crazy to the end of the race now. Not what Junior wanted to see. At least it came out when he was already in the pits. He didn't have to worry about losing the lead during the pit stops under caution. Great restart through the shifts. These guys will run him down. But will he be able to block like he has all night? Brandon Jones just jumped up to second. Harrison Burton had probably the worst restart he's had tonight. He falls back to 4th. Michael Annett got around him in 3rd as well. So Jones closing in. Off of turn 2. Harrison Burton's probably going to be the driver to look out for, though, if you're looking for somebody to beat Dale Jr. But they need to get to the lead as quick as they can so they can then pull away. Knowing Junior's got the fastest car. Just not this early in the run. 15 laps to go now at MIS. Brandon Jones has closed the gap. Harrison Burton out of the inside of Jones for second off of turn 2. He's there. Getting side draft down the back straightaway. Jones got to run. He ran a little bit higher. Jones going to go high now through the corner, but not as high as Harrison Burton went. Burton goes all the way to the top. Jones kind of had a later entry to the corner because he ended up in the bottom lane about halfway through, and now he's trying to stand the draft of Junior down the front stretch as they both go to the inside. And what a power move. Oh, Jones just moves Junior out of the groove. And Brandon Jones with an aggressive pass, an aggressive maneuver to take the lead. That just shuffled Michael Annett now all of a sudden up to second. Harrison Burton just gave Dale Jr. a huge shot through turns 3 and 4. To the back bumper again, another big shot from Harrison Burton, but Brandon Jones to the lead. Junior still getting the shot. Oh, a little contact. He was a little unstable after the push from Burton. Junior going for the lead again, though. Into turn 1. Drives it in hard. Couldn't quite clear the 19. 3 wide for the lead. Michael Annett down to the bottom. Burton again with a push to Dale Jr. No drafting help on the top for Brandon Jones. Jr. to the inside of his teammate Annett now for the lead. Harrison Burton trying to push him desperately, trying to get him to the lead, and he just shoved him right up into Annett. Annett able to hold on. 12 to go. Oh, Junior got tight. He wanted to run high, but not that high. Burton up to second. Jones to the inside now, looking for third. On the back straightaway. Big run in the draft. Jones had no drafting help that time. Again, Junior dove a little bit later than he wanted to. Jones to the inside of him. Michael Annett trying to win this race. Jeffrey Earnhardt, who was running 11th, a lap down a little bit ago, might not have a long run car. You see Junior with an aggressive block on Jones there to hang on to third. Two fastest cars all race though, right behind Annett. Big move to the bottom for Junior through 3 and 4. He's up to second. Slides in front of Harrison Burton now. Big run in the draft. Junior for the lead. Burton to the inside behind Dale Jr. now. Burton to the inside of Annett. And Dale Jr. through turns 3 and 4 will take the lead. And now trying to block for himself. 11 laps to go. Sorry, 10 laps to go this time by here at Michigan. They're side by side for second. That's what Junior wants to see. Aggressive side drafting by those guys back in second and third. Down the front stretch. Hometown hero. Dale Jr. not necessarily the hometown hero, but yes, this is my home track. Well, I guess you can kind of say Mid-Ohio for the Xfinity Series could kind of be my home track. But how about winning at both of them in 3 days' time? 9 to go. But now Burton is up to second place. Does he have what it takes to try and get around Dale Jr.? Jr. drives it in deep, trying to stay on the bottom. He washes up the track. Trying to get back down in front of Harrison Burton. He can't. Burton's there. A little bit of contact. Jr. now trying to side draft him down the back. Pulling him back a little bit more. Into turns 3 and 4. Oh, they are dead even. Burton, can he clear? Yes, he will. Harrison Burton to the lead. 8 laps to go this time by. Junior trying to cross him over. Clears him right back going into turn 1. Burton able to back the corner up a little bit more than what Dale Jr. did. Jr. can't keep the car on the bottom. Burton beats him back to the gas. Now Burton trying to cross him over. Side by side down the back again. Jr. really running him down the track. Trying to side draft aggressively. No contact though. And again, Burton is clear. Jr. just beat him back to the gas off of turn 4. Jr. looks low. Michael Annett in the draft behind Dale Jr. Another lead change at the line. 7 laps to go. Jr. back out in front. Clears Burton. Annett now side drafting Harrison Burton for second. And they're side by side. That's going to help Dale Jr. out again. Can we have a 1-2 finish for Junior Motorsport for the 3rd consecutive race? Michael Annett trying to get second place. He finished runner-up at Mid-Ohio and 3rd at Charlotte. In the last 2 races, most consistent driver outside of the guy who has won the last two, trying to make it 3 in a row, and that is this 8 car that is out in front with just 6 to go. It was a fight for the time being. Junior, though, back out and pulling away again as his tires start to kick in on the long run. Five laps left here at Michigan. And that's still trying to hold it down in second. He's got 2 JGR Toyotas right behind him in fourth. Burton's been faster than a net all night. Caution comes out again. We will go to overtime and run past the scheduled distance for today's race. Next race live, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time once again. We'll go back to NASCAR Thunder 2004, and we will run at Las Vegas. 400-mile, 267-lap event there. Another mile and a half on the season. Probably the flattest racetrack we've been to in the early going of that season. That's race number 8 of our custom schedule for that one. Michael Nett still on to second. Starting to see later and later into the run why the track position really matters so much. It's so hard to pass, even though this is a wide, starting to slowly turn into a multi-groove racetrack over the course since the repave. And Burton lost a little time in turns 3 and 4. 2 laps to go. Junior just hoping now to green to the white flag. 1 more mile to get there. Kind of overdrove turns 3 and 4. Dove it in a little too early. He's hustling to try and get to the white flag. He does not want to see another restart. Though he has been nearly perfect. Not quite on the last one. It took him a little extra. Finally got back to the lead with 7 to go, but the white flag is now in the air. Annette still in second place. Hopefully just stays on the bottom and just tries to hold off Harrison Burton. He's got about 10 on him now down the back straightaway. That's a good little gap. Now through turns 3 and 4, one final time. Up at the front of the field, no lap traffic in the way. For back-to-back races, Junior Motorsports goes 1-2, and for the 3rd straight race, it will be Dale Jr. winning as he wins at Michigan here today. 3 consecutive races of 1-2 finishes or better for Junior Motorsports. They are on a tear midway through the season. And the Michigan sweep between both Heat 5 races, the Cup and the Xfinity, 1 each, and then, of course, the NASCAR Thunder 04 race. Last week as well. 1 hour, 17 minutes total time on the race today. This one flew by despite the fact we had 5 cautions for incident. Dale Jr. gets the win. He won both stages as well. Michael Annette finishes in second by a nose ahead of Harrison Burton. Followed by Brandon Jones, Jeffrey Earnhardt, your top 5. Chase Briscoe, Alex LeBay, Noah Gragson, Ryan Sieg, and Daniel Hemrick round out the top 10. 18 drivers finished on the lead lap in today's race as well. And only 2 DNFs of Chad Fincham and Joe Nemechek. So that is going to wrap it up here for this one. Again, doing the points myself for the Xfinity Series. LeBay had the fastest lap, 38.908. 93 of the 125 laps led by Dale Jr. here today. Just complete domination. He had the fastest car and came from the back as well to win today's race. So thanks everybody for watching here tonight. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, such as these full race live streams. Help me out on my broadcasting career. That's why we do these realistic broadcasts with the full race live streams on the daily. Next one, again, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow at Las Vegas. Career mode live stream coming up here in about a half hour. We'll shoot 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be running a career mode live stream. We'll do 2 or 3 races there to add on to it. So tune in for that one as well. And I will see you guys for that and as well as tomorrow if you can't make it for tonight's live stream. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you soon.